Hi everyone, and welcome to today's tutorial on Simple GIS Client. And what I'm going to be demonstrating for you here today is how you can have multiple users edit a single shapefile in Simple GIS Client. So this is real easy. This is just part of the inherent properties of Simple GIS Client is the ability to have multi-user editing of shapefiles. And so to start with today, I'm just going to add in a couple of shapefiles. So as you see here, I have two instances of Simple GIS Client running on my computer right now. And I'm going to add a couple of shapefiles to each instance. So I'm going to come to the Add Data as New Layer to Map. And I'm going to select a couple of shapefiles that I already have here on this project. One is a polygon, so I'm going to select this poly demo shapefile. And so if this was a shapefile, let's say for instance that you had sitting on a file server in your office that multiple users were going to be accessing, you would just simply select the shapefile. I'm going to just accept the default settings, and it adds in this new shapefile to my map. This first one happens to be a polygon shapefile of county boundaries for an area. And then I'm just going to add one more. I'll do also a point shapefile just to show. So I'll use this populated places shapefile. Again, I'm just going to accept the defaults and add them to my map. And then on my second instance, I'm going to do the same thing and add those same shapefiles to this map instance. So I'll select the polygon shapefile first. And then I'll also add that same point shapefile to this instance. So now I have two separate instances of Simple GIS Client, and I am pointing to the same shapefiles in each instance. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and turn editing on all the layers in each instance of Simple GIS Client. So I'm just going to right click on the layer and select Toggle Layer Edit. And I see that it went into its edit state by the X box next to the layer name that turns it on and off. Went from black to red. And I'll just do this for each instance of Simple GIS Client for these layers. Now the multi-user editing applies to both the geometry and the attribute data. So to begin with, for instance, if I was to click on one of these populated places to pull up its attribute data, I could edit this data. And so if I wanted to change, let's say, I don't know, we can just select anything. So like the feature name, Muse test edit of attribute data, and apply this. Okay. And let me just make sure that I clicked on the right feature. No, that wasn't it. I should have marked this before I edited it. That's it right here. So it's this feature right here. And then if I go to my second instance, I believe it's the same feature here. And I view its attribute data. I'll make populated places my active layer. And then click on it. I see that the attribute data did actually change. And of course, the other thing you can do is edit any of the geometry as well. So if I wanted to move this point feature, for instance, I can make my populated places, make sure that's my active layer, and then I'm going to come to my edit tools, and I want to edit a feature, so I'm going to select it. And I'm just going to draw a rectangle around the feature I'm wanting to edit. See, I get the nice little black handles come up, and then if I move my mouse over it, I see I get the cursor changes to where the move cursor symbol, and I can just click and drag it to a new location, release, and I see that it changed on my map in this instance of Simple GIS Client. Now, on the second instance, I don't see it change, and that's simply because I just need to refresh the map screen. So I'm going to use my pen tool, just click and drag a little, And when I release, I see that it changed the location of that feature. I just edit it in this instance. Likewise, I could edit the polygon feature. So I'm going to come here, and in this instance, I'll come and select edit feature, and I'll click on one of these polygons. And let's say I want to edit the vertice of this particular polygon. So I'll right click, select edit vertex. I see I get my list of vertices here, and so now I can just click and drag to move the boundary on this polygon release. And I see it changes. Again, on my second instance, I don't see it change immediately, but if I just simply refresh my map a little, just pan a little, and I see the change. And so you can see how we are currently actively supporting multi-user access to the same shapefile and editing of that shapefile. And so you can have multiple users hitting the same shapefile, editing, and it'll keep it all in sync for you in Simple GIS Client. So if you had these, as I mentioned at the beginning, your data sitting on a file server, that's one way you could access the data in a user group and allow multi-user access for both reading and editing the data. And so the only other thing I will mention is if you do need to share this shapefile in another program other than Simple GIS Client, to support the multi-user editing, it does make some small changes into the shapefile that doesn't strictly conform to the Esri shapefiles format standard, but you can always put it back to the Esri shapefile format. What you would need to do, let me take toggle editing off. And to do this, you will need to have exclusive access to the shapefile. And so what I will need to do is I'm going to actually close one of these shapefiles, or I'm sorry, one of these map instances, so that I only have one simple access file. So no, I'm not going to save this project. And so if you've been editing and you want to put it back into the Esri shapefile format for sharing with other users that may be using other software, you just select the shapefile and you come to the layer edit, and what you want to do is click repair. And that's actually going to compress the shapefile and make sure that it's in the Esri shapefile format. And now you can share that shapefile with other users who may be using other software. And so that's how easy it is. So hopefully this was a help to you. And as always, encourage you to visit our website. Website is simplegissoftware.com. Thank you.